the Corner show, and we are following up on the second or part two of the emergency survival preparedness. And we're here to basically talk about and make sure that you guys are prepared and aware and how to survive just in case the big one happens. And these two are going to put me in a grind. They're going to ask me a question. Noel and Cleo is going to ask me a bunch of questions, how to get ready. Okay, go ahead, guys. Ask the questions.
Paul, with the big one just around the corner, looming around the corner, what would you recommend for people to prepare for first?
Okay. As per first segment that we did on emergency preparedness, I mentioned something about putting together your own customized backpack, right? So a backpack, you should have one, at least one in the house, one in the car, and one in your office if you have one in the office. So each backpack should at least have one flashlight, one first aid kit, and some emergency supplies like water, bottled water, especially right now, summertime. Bottled water would be nice, have it in the backpack, face towel. Also, aside from the flashlight, but you're also going to need some leather gloves are preferred. Not those cloth type of or gardening gloves, but leather gloves, because you may be picking up concrete, cement, or stones, rocks, anything that can pinch your fingers. So you need some sort of a leather type of gloves. And a backpack, something like this, as big as this, and you can fill it with some, like I said, from first aid. Customize your first aid kit with enough bandages that you need. And if you have any pain medicine, painkillers, right? So Tylenol, Motrin, whatever, ibuprofen, whatever is going to help you endure the pain and while help comes your way. Because right now, like I said, you got to have at least a backpack in your car, and it's what we call a go bag or a bug out bag. Okay. Also have one in the car. I mean at home, because you're going to need one that if you need to evacuate the house right away. Not only you have one in the car already, but now you're going to put something else that's not in your car in your backpack, right? And by the way, lucky winner later on, we're going to have games, and this is going to be a one of the prize for our lucky winner for our game later on.
Do we qualify?
No. Okay.
I just have to ask.
The hosts are not participating. Okay, so what else? Go ahead.
So is that a good size for your bag, or would you recommend something bigger or smaller?
Well, this is a good size, and the reason why I say that is because you don't want anything bigger. Anything bigger, you're going to put more. Anything more is going to be heavier, and if it's going to be heavier, it's going to be. Imagine yourself walking for miles because the cars are blocking the streets, the freeways, and so on, and. Just imagine yourself hiking uphill and downhill wherever you live or whatever area you're going to be trekking. Just make sure you're comfortable.
What about provisions for food and water? When you do the bug out routine, how much would you carry? Do you recommend that? I mean, just for yourself, obviously. If you're also in a group of people, how would you do?
Right. So, for example, what I have in my car, I have a little cooler in my bag. All right, one of those soft padded, not the igloo type cooler that is hard case. I have one of those soft cases cooler bags, and instead of the bottled water in the car during the summertime, it's hot and everything. I put the bottled water inside the cooler. So when you open the cooler, the bottled water is cool or room temperature. It's not as hot as it's been exposed to the sun. And I would put usually what they used to say, you gotta save up for 3 days before help comes. It's no longer 3 days. It's about at least a week now, or 5 days. So I would prepare more. I have extra pair of shoes in your car, extra pair of clothes, just in case. Because if you're going to work and you usually wear leather shoes and high heels or a platform, you need something that's more comfortable. So get some tennis shoes in the car and towel because you're going to get dirty, a dust mask, and some goggles. Basic things that you're going to need to have in your kit. Okay, and then later on maybe a part 3, we'll do a EDC segment. EDC is an acronym for everyday carry, and most men have that everyday carry. Basically, because when women have purses, the men have the EDCs. That's what everyday carry means, and we'll talk about that in a third segment.
I like those initials.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Anything else? Cleo, got a question for me?
So what should the girls bring? You know.
Okay, well, makeup will be the least of your priority.
That would be the first thing I would do.
You want to look good while being rescued?
Of course.
Yeah, so, yeah. But as far as the women, what they need to bring, well, it's the same thing what the guys would bring. Okay. The most important thing is, like I said, the painkillers and medicine, headache pills, right? So you're gonna have some extra if you're in your period, and you want to have those in the bag as well. Okay, because if let's say I get a cut, a strong cut, and I'm bleeding out, I need to get one of those pads to strap it on, right? If I got a bullet wound, you're gonna have a hole. When you have a hole, you can use one of those tampons to plug it in. That will absorb.
I never thought of that. But
those are emergency rescue techniques.
Right.
So I'm an EMR, emergency medical rescue person, right? So I'm a volunteer for the Red Cross and everything. So that's why I know all this stuff, because I've been deployed from California to Florida. And I know what they need. Most people need, and when they come to the truck, they need stuff. We know what to give them because we know what they need. And I'm telling you what you guys should prepare for.
Right.
Tarps, bleach, all the stuff you're going to need later on.
And if you belong in a family or a group of friends that are nearby each other, do you recommend that you carry similar things, or do you also prepare for a team carry type of stuff along with your EDC?
Right. If you're in a group, and let's say you're neighbors, if you're coordinated, you can have one in charge of shelter, a triage, setting up a triage, a tent, and so on. And if you live in a cul-de-sac, you can put one neighbor in charge of first aid, one neighbor in charge of supplies and food and water. One neighbor is basically like a mini tented hospital treatment for injured people and the neighbors. So you can have those 10 by 10 tents set up in a cul-de-sac, and that's your home base right there. Okay.
Good idea. Great idea.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Right, no problem.
Well, there's one more question I have.
Okay, we're running out of time, but
just real quick.
Okay.
What do you do with your pets? In a situation like that, we love our pets, right?
Very good question. You also need to provide for, put some pet food supplies on the side for them as well, right? And water as well. So that's why you need more than just for yourself. You need water for your dog as well, your pets, right? So make sure you set aside a little backpack for them too.
Oh, interesting.
Right. Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
So we love our pets.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Because they need your support. They can't help themselves, but
Is it a similar preparation now that we're having wildfires here in Southern California, or it's a different set?
Right. So if I were you during during this wildfires that we're having in LA County and this part of our area, water your grass, your trees, water your roof. Make sure you hose them down. Because you don't want it to be left dry. Because if it's dry, it has a tendency to cause fire.
That's right.
Okay. So a small spark can create a big fire. So hose the house down once in a while, you know, and water your plants and trees. Twice as much as you were doing it in the springtime.
Right.
All right.
Sure.
Okay, so that's our segment for the emergency preparedness, survival preparedness. We're going to have a part 3 of that, and we're going to cover EDC, everyday carry, and I'll give you some ideas what to put in your EDC, and that's going to be our part 3.
Hey, for any home buyers out there, I want you to meet Paul. He actually helped us a lot. We moved here about 2 years ago, and it took us about a year and a half to actually find a house. And we finally found one within our budget and our price range. But it was really Paul's creativity, tenacity, and experience that made it happen. He was always available whenever we needed. And we actually found a place that we want. And because of his creativity and his experience, it made it happen. Even though we were lower than the other people that was asking for the price, he found a way to make it happen. So I would really recommend Paul for any other adventures or any other homes that you would like to invest in.
Hi, I'm Paul Mirador, and what makes me different from other realtors out there is that I treat my clients like they're my only client. They can call me any time of the day, they can text me, email me, or call me, and there's no assistance to screen my calls. I've been a loan officer for over 14 years and before I became a realtor, and I've been a realtor for over 10 years. So in total, I have been in the industry for over 24 years. You can check out more of my clients' video testimonials on my website, or you can just give me a call so we can get you started. Let me be your personal real estate concierge.
We have our special guest today. By the way, joining me is Noel and Cleo.
Hi.
How do you do? And we have our special guest today is the president of the Phil-Am Chamber of Commerce Hollywood, Craig Wilson. And Craig is here to talk about the Phil-Am Chamber of Commerce Hollywood, and he's got an event coming up July 12th. Welcome, Craig.
Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Good. Glad to have you here. Glad to have you. Listen, we wanted to ask you, tell us a little bit about the Phil-Am Chamber of Commerce Hollywood. What is the mission, vision, passion? What is all that?
Well, the mission really is to kind of create the business side of the Phil-Am film movement. Because the creatives are there and they're making stuff, but beyond YouTube, there's nowhere for it to go. And so, and a lot of them are very low budget, there isn't any money. Film is a very expensive medium to make. I mean, $1 million is considered low budget. So, organizing everybody and having them get to meet the business execs, and it's also for us. It's also about really creating a community all the way around. So imagine if our community, Phil-Ams, were all supporting each other. Like if there was a way to create a financial system where our finances supported our artists and our artists was able to bring in more money to our businesses. You know?
Yes.
So it's a large task, and it's never been done successfully yet. But we're very passionate, and we really want to begin to unite everybody, and truly have that sense of family that we all have inside of us as Phil-Ams.
Copy that. All right. Now you have basically the goal of the the Phil-Am Chamber of Commerce Hollywood. The goal is to bridge the gap within.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that.
So as I began to really truly explore Phil-Am, the Phil-Am community, the Phil-Am organizations, and Phil-Am events, I noticed that the age gap, there was a giant age gap. It's usually, you know, the millennials and people of my age and even younger were always in one crowd, and then there was the older crowd doing their events. But there was everybody that our elders, the events that they set forth, there's no one to overtake it as people begin to slowly retire. And that seemed like a problem to me. So I really wanted to begin to bridge the generational gap between Phil-Ams, and I also want to bridge the cultural gap between Phil-Ams and Filipinos. You know, Filipino film in America isn't a giant thing. Like, it's a lot of cinema lovers can't even name one Filipino director. And I really want to begin to change that. I really want us to have a system where we're supporting each other. So one thing that the Film Chamber of Commerce of Hollywood took on this year, our big theme is bridging the gap. Bridging the gap culturally and bridging the gap generationally, so we can truly like work all together, you know? And the younger ones can learn from our elders, and honestly, and vice versa, because some of maybe the traditional ways of doing things don't always work for the younger crowd, so there's got to be, you know, a way to mix them both, and we can all learn from each other.
Just to let you know, Craig is also a writer, director, producer, and the last project, or the last film, the short film that he did was Lolo Pepe. So if you guys haven't seen that, I believe, where can you see Lolo Pepe? Online?
You know, honestly, the trailer is still online. The actual short, we're getting ready for the premiere. I have a venue, an online premiere that is. I have a venue. I'm talking to it. It's going to be on Kumu. Kumu, if you guys are familiar with like WeChat, or I mean, it's kind of Facebook-ish, but it's specifically for Filipinos. It's a phone app, and I've been on it for a while. One, the owners, the people that are behind it, they are all coming from the right place in here, which to me is the most important. And then if you do your research on them, they also have the business knowledge and acumen to really make it work. They're all Phil-Ams, but they all recently just moved to Manila, like within the last month, to really make Kumu pop. And it's going to be they're an app that's focused on creative Filipinos around the world. Because of that app, I now have I have Filipino friends in Dubai, I have Filipino friends in Rome, I have Filipino friends all over the world. So, you know, this is something they're beginning to slowly. Also, you're able to upload videos. You guys, I can hook you up with them.
Okay, tell us real quick. Tell us about the July 12th event. Now you have a venue coming up, so tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so July 12th is FACO's, or FAC Hollywood's very first event. It's our very first, our inaugural event, and we have Reggie Lee. If you're familiar with Reggie Lee from Grimm, from the TV show Grimm, he's also been in Pirates of the Caribbean. He's been all over the place, well established. In fact, Grimm was one of the very first network TV shows to do a storyline on Filipinos, on Filipino culture. Okay, so we have him. We also have Mark Anthony Nicholas, who has won 2 Emmys for his talk show, The Talk. Which is, I think it's CBS, right?
Probably.
I believe it's CBS. Excuse me if I'm wrong, guys. Sorry. We also have Shane Sororia, who's an 11-year-old ventriloquist, who's pretty entertaining and amazing. And then we also have Eric Esteban, who's going to be giving some stand-up comedy. You can, if you go to Eventbrite and you look up Showtime Bridge the Gap, or you look up FAC Hollywood, it's all there. FACHollywood.com, FACC Hollywood.com. The event's there. You can buy tickets, $20. You get all the entertainment and food for $20, and a night in Hollywood, food alone is going to cost you $20. So it's definitely a great deal.
Well, if they get it now, it's $20, but if you pay at the door, it's going to be 25 or something like that, right? Because they need
that is correct. Yeah.
Right. So check it out. Go to Eventbrite, search for Bridge the Gap.
Yes.
Or Bridging the Gap.
Or if you just go to FACHollywood.com, you'll find a link.
FAC Hollywood is FACC Hollywood.com. So that's the website. Craig, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
And we'd love to have you again. We'll talk more about maybe doing some,
reporting on the community.
Reporting on the community.
Hi, my name is Noel Omega, and we're here to talk about the bottom line. This segment deals with things that will affect your net worth, how you may increase it, or how it might affect your net worth from increasing. Today's topic is about import tariffs. You've heard about them. They call it the Trump import tariffs. It affects things like metals, food, particularly finished products from Europe, from other countries such as cars. And many other things that may be considered a trade imbalance tariff from other countries coming to the U.S. So the bottom line now is that these other countries have declared kind of like a trade war by increasing tariffs from American products going out to their countries also. So there's now a two-sided effect on this. So with that, I'm going to entertain any questions from you about import tariffs. Do you want to ask me something about it before I...
So sure, basically the other countries who are affected by the trade wars with the U.S. Are mostly in the consumer consumption stage, right? I mean, as far as the products and
raw materials
raw
also.
Materials, right.
But the people who are going to feel the pinch are people buying these products in the end.
Consumer consumption.
Yes.
Right. So if anyone in the audience wanted to ask questions, feel free to do so. Does anybody has a question?
While you're, yes, we'll take that.
With this activity of the present administration, how would it affect the consumers, especially the immigrants?
That's a very good question, very pointed question. Prices are already at an all-time high over here, and for imported products, we already pay somewhat of an escalated scale. The immigrants will definitely be affected, but moreover, it's really the whole population that will be affected. The intent of the import tariff is if you buy American-made products, you will pay the same price. So it's really up to you to do your own intelligent price comparisons and to take a look to see if a product is imported or not. If it's imported and you have no choice, for example, you're buying a European car and you really like European cars, then be prepared to pay extra for that. However, if you buy cars from countries that are not affected by import tariffs, then that would be a good solution for immigrants. Basically, what they're trying to do is see if you can buy American products first. To add to your question, since you mentioned about immigrants, the products that are being increased in import tariffs right now, I don't think involves any product coming from the Philippines, because we don't really do car manufacturing there, but we do create some food items there that have not been identified as, like Chinese food, for example. A lot of food from China may have to be increased in tariff because it's considered a trade imbalance with the U.S. So we need to take a look at the Department of Commerce to find out what's on the list. But this is definitely a sore point right now, especially the media, who claims that this is going to escalate prices in the United States. And that affects the bottom line, especially if it's something that you budget. Say, for example, you like Swiss chocolates. Those are probably going to increase, right? And in that junction, do you know that chocolate agricultural products come from the Philippines a lot, but they're not coming directly to the U.S. It's going to Malaysia, it's going to Indonesia, it goes to to the Swiss manufacturers, and then when it comes to us here, it's pretty high already. I wonder if it comes directly from the Philippines to here, do you think there will be a price tariff on that one?
Probably.
Yeah?
Everybody wants their hands on it.
Right. As a Filipino American, I do know that the Philippines is a very balanced trade partner of the United States. So hopefully it doesn't affect things coming from the Philippines, but we'll find out sooner or later. We have people here from the Chambers of Commerce. I myself, being a co-founder of the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce of Greater LA, will make it a point to find out if it's going to affect any products from the Philippines coming here. We don't want our bagoong and tuyo to go up in price, right? I mean, that's very expensive already, as it is. Buy it in the Philippines, bring it here through your luggage.
All right, so anybody has any questions from the audience? No? Okay, so we thank you for that segment.
Well, there's one more thing.
There's one more thing. Go ahead.
One more thing, since I think we've got one more minute. If you buy a product that is based all overseas, say for example you invest in real estate in the Philippines, for example, it's not going to affect you because that product remains overseas. So if you invest, or when you buy something that you don't have to bring to the United States, unless you bring it as your personal belonging, then you will not be subjected to tariffs. Go to France, pay $3,000 for a ticket, and then buy your perfumes there. So anyway, that's it for bottom line. Yes, there's one more.
One quick question.
Okay, my question is about the import tariff. I know we're not affected. Filipino Philippines product. Suppose we go to the Philippines to as a bulk buying, and then they have some duty free in the duty free.
Yes.
I know duty free doesn't put tax. Does it affect the product that is in the duty free? Since duty free perfumes and all that are coming from a different country, like Europe, there are perfumes and cigarettes and other liquors and wine. Are we going to be affected with that even if you buy it in the Philippines, not here, since it's an imported product?
That's a good question, and relevant to what I said a while ago. Personal effects are not affected. So if you do buy it abroad and you bring it here, those are personal belongings, and it will not be affected because you're not per se importing it like a business here would import products.
Only
Right? Yes. Correct. Right. By itself. Yes. Now, if you do buy a car from abroad and you bring it here, it's going to be subjected to tariffs anyway, even before the import tariffs were put in place. In fact, if you bring a car from here to the Philippines, you'll be subjected to taxes.
So it's not just the import, also export.
For export taxes, yes.
It's both.
There have been tariffs on the other side of receiving countries before that we have paid for. So this is nothing new. We're just doing some targeted materials that are being taught by the United States as being unfair to the American consumers in here.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so well, thank you for that question and answer segment about the tariffs. And if you have any questions, feel free to send an email and contact Noel, and he'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Hi, my name is Cleo Jones, and today we have very special guests here. We have the executive producer of the pageant, Miss Philippines Continental America, Joe Verte, and one of the candidates as well, Erika Madlangsakay. So, Joe, tell us a little bit about the pageant.
Continental Miss Philippines America is a pageant that aims to promote community ambassadors, to promote cultural values and tourism. And we are a pageant who are like taking ladies to the Miss World Philippines. Our winners will be joining Miss World Philippines this coming October 18. And this will be a chance for all Filipino Americans to join and be in the Philippines for the pageant.
Wow, that's amazing. So, are there any requirements to join these pageants?
Yeah, you should have like a Filipino blood in you. You should be like 50% Filipino or 25% Filipino.
Okay. So the pageant, where is it going to be located and where is it going to take place?
The pageant will be at the Aratani Theater in Little Tokyo. It is happening on August 4, 2018. And we're inviting everybody to be there.
Okay, so the Aratani Theater in Little Tokyo. And where can we purchase these tickets?
For your tickets, you can do it online at LA Beauty. And a candidate, if you know some of the candidates, they are very popular and we have a voting system. You can always approach them for tickets.
Okay, thank you. Do you guys have any questions for our guests here?
Okay, so we do have a question that we wanted to ask. But however, we're just going to go over the details of the event. What time was it? What time does it start?
It will start at 5 p.m.
And it's from 5 to 10, and it's going to be on a Saturday, 5 to 10 p.m. Okay. And Noel and I have a question that normally hosts for these pageants don't ask because, we have certain questions we want to ask, right, Noel?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so do you want to ask your first question?
Yes, this is going to be directed to Erika.
Yes.
Hi, Erika.
Hi.
So, okay, these questions are not usually what you would hear in the pageant, but we're curious. So, for example, from your perspective, what would be the ideal qualities of a pageant judge?
Ooh, that's hard. Ooh,
That's why I picked that question.
That's a hard question.
Oh, you haven't heard my question yet.
We're having fun here. Just
yes.
go ahead and answer.
Well, someone that knows what to look for in a beauty queen, someone that has experience of the pageant world, and yeah.
What would be those qualities that they
The
should be
qualities,
looking for?
that the judge is looking for.
Yes, in a beauty queen.
And a beauty queen is someone that has a good heart, someone that is willing to learn, continuing to grow, and would like to represent the people of the community.
So beauty is not the number one quality that you're going to be promoting for a judge to look at.
I believe it is a factor, but as long as you have the personality, the heart, I think it will go. You'll turn out good.
I believe it's the physical beauty and the beauty of the heart.
Very nice. Nicely said. By the way, those two answers are really good.
Thank you very much.
I agree
Yes.
with those.
And this is a question that she hasn't heard before.
I've never even heard of it before.
We didn't prep her on this, so this is coming straight from the heart, right? And so, all right. So, I was going to ask you a question, but you may already have answered the question.
Yes.
Go for it anyway.
But I'm going to ask the question anyway. So here's the question.
Yes.
What makes you blush?
What makes me blush is being put on the spot.
That's why you answered the
That's why you were
question.
blushing a while ago.
Yes, it's being put on the spot, like exactly right here, being in front of the camera, just, that's what makes me blush, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Well, that's why I probably should have asked the question first before. Right?
Yes.
All right, well, guys, thank you very much for coming to our show. And again, just to August 4th, it's what day?
Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
At 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m., 5 to 10
each other.
p.m. Arrive early so you can find parking. And, you can find, if you need some tickets, you can see one of the candidates. You can also vote for them on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, look up what on Facebook? Look up Miss...
www.continentalmissphilippines.com.
But that's the website. On
and you can do
Facebook.
the voting, voting part of in the website.
Okay, you can do that too.
Nice.
So, all right. So make put your votes in, because that's the only way the candidates will know which one is getting more votes and becomes more competitive. And that's how it goes. Thank you guys. Until then, thank you for watching us. Please follow, subscribe, like us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.